Okay, welcome back to my Canva tutorial. In the first video, I went over all of sort of the basics of Canva. And in this video, we are going to go over some of the more like the time-saving aspects of Canva and things that's just really good to know to work efficiently in the system. This was a design that we created last time. It actually does not make a lot of sense. These are just for educational purposes and not because I'm actually going to post this anywhere. But one of my favorite features of Canva is its ability to group items. So you go up here and I click on the text. You will actually see that there is two boxes. There's a box around beach please, and there's a box around it's pineapple time. And if you look up here in the top, you'll see that this button was added, ungroup. So these two items, if I move them around, they're going to move together because they have been grouped. So this is super helpful if you have multiple items that you always want them to be together, kind of like this text, or if you've worked really, really hard on getting them to line up perfectly, and then now you just need to move them like a centimeter. You don't have to work on that again. You can just group them and then they'll always move together. So, but you know what, right now, I want to change it up. So I can click on ungroup. So now, and so sometimes it's necessary. Maybe I wanted to make its pineapple time a little bit bigger, but I didn't want them to move in sync, which is what happens. And so I wanted to edit this separately. But you know what, now I want to group them back together because that was super helpful. So all you do is click on one element, hit the Shift key on your laptop or computer, click on the second element, and the group button will appear. So you click on group, and now they are grouped back together. So I mentioned that grouping is really good if you want to move them, but also if you want to resize them and have them stay within the same ratio. So if I were to make this smaller, you can see the ratio of the elements is the same regardless of the size. Although I could also just double click and highlight that one. You can see what size it is. Maybe you wanted to make it 28, I want it to be a little bit bigger. And the ratio changes because I edited an individual element and not the group. So just know that that is one difference that you can do, but grouping is really, really helpful again, and I use it pretty much all the time. So the other time-saving element that I use a lot is I copy pages. So this is my IG design, and you can actually see, if we go back to the home page, I have my YouTube thumbnails here. So if I were to click on that and open up, and actually you can see I have 38 pages. And so I keep all of my YouTube thumbnails just in one design. I don't create multiple designs for every single thing that I create. I just keep them all together. There's a couple different reasons for this. One, I like them all to be in one place. It's much easier than opening multiple designs. But two, I can copy something. So if we go over here, I can copy this page and I can reuse this design without having to recreate it. So now you can see I have page 1. And I have page 2. And you're able to add page titles, so if that's necessary. But yeah, so it's just really helpful. So say for IG number 1, this is what I want to do, but for IG number 2, I just want the colors to be inverted, but I want the design to look the same because I want my brand to look the same. So I could take this orange, I could make it blue. So I can make blue be like the main color that I'm using instead of orange. And so it just grabs people in a different way, just like that. And then we'll change this. And again, I already showed you how easy it was in the other videos to change the text and change the images. So that is one super time-saving feature that I use all the time. Now, one thing I haven't discussed yet is background photos. So say I didn't want that, and I don't want that anymore, but what I do want is there to be a background image instead of an image to be really small. So we can go up here to Photos. Pineapple is already in. And I just want this to be the background photo. So I can drag it over here and drop it, and it actually becomes the background photo. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this as well. I'm going to move Mr. Pineapple over a little bit. You can see the edges of the image right here, so you know what's going to be visible and what isn't. And you can't read this orange here, so I'm going to change it to white. I'm going to change that to gray. And look at that. You have got a completely different image, a completely different design, but again, it's still going to fit your brand image if you just copy your pages from one to the other. So that's a way to use background photos instead of just using a smaller image if that isn't what you want to use. And again, so say I didn't like Mr. Pineapple Man, although I really do like him, he's pretty cool. But I wanted to use this one. I just drag it over, and I haven't clicked off my mouse yet, so I can see what that would look like. I'd be like, no, that's a little too busy. I don't like it. And without clicking off my mouse, I just move it back over, kind of just drop it back over in its home base, and I'm able to test and see what things look like without having to officially change them. So that is another way, like just another time-saving feature that you can use with Canva. Now, say that I really loved these designs and I wanted to use them for Pinterest as well as Instagram because I think they would do well. I believe this may only be a paid version feature, but what we can do is click on Resize up here and select the type that you want it to be. So let's find Pinterest. Here it is. And so I want these 3 designs to now become Pinterest pins as well. So I'm going to copy and resize. And you can see it created my IG post and modified them for Pinterest. So I do need to edit them a little bit because they didn't copy over, completely perfectly. Like this could be a little bit bigger because Pinterest is vertical, whereas IG is square. So I'm going to make that bigger and move it up. And then I'm going to also make my website bigger. And throw him back down here at the bottom, just like that. And maybe move Mr. Pineapple Man over a little bit. But yeah, that's perfect. I mean, and so instead of having to recreate all of these elements and throw them together, I was actually able to just copy and resize and use the designs that I already created. So again, it's just another time-saving tool of Canva that you're able to do things like that. And if you didn't want to extend it all the way, you didn't have to. I'm actually not going to extend it all the way to the top because this is for Pinterest. And I think it's okay for it to have a little bit of different design than it did before. So that is time-saving tips for using Canva. And stick around for my next Canva tutorial video.